beautiful. How are you doing today? So in my last video, I talked about the glitches that happen, the pushback, the change back attacks that happen when we change and when we do some healing. How those can come from either people or from the energy and the universe, and it comes at us in some quite unexpected ways. And it's all not just to test us, but it's actually a proof that we are doing some good work. But today I want to talk about why and how we stay stuck in the work of healing, in the endless lessons, and the shift in state, a new kind of freedom that we can access once we let go of the reins. Have you ever thought that healing was a form of control? That at some point it takes more courage not to do healing than to continue on our path of healing ourselves. Now, why does it take courage? Because once we've done some work, that path has become familiar. And yes, even the pain that goes through it and the apparent courage that we need to keep digging, it has become familiar. We are in a known groove, and the real leap of faith comes from jumping into the unknown, comes from getting off that hamster wheel and exploring places where we haven't been before. Subscribe. When we've done a lot of that work and it's so familiar, we are in a place of control because we are doing it the way we are learning at the pace we choose, and we are in control. But the courage at some point comes from trusting something bigger that we have no control over and that is unknown to us. In a very real way, the scary part is in our willingness to give up control of our healing. Now, I always say that it's not about not doing any healing work. We need that awareness, we need that understanding of what makes us tick, of what happened to us, how it shaped us, where our patterns come from, our triggers, and all that. I mean, it is how we get to live a freer and more conscious life. So, not saying no healing at all, but at some point, trying to make sense of all our traumas and wounds, of trying to figure out everything, understanding them, identifying them, naming them, keeping them close to our awareness all day long, watching each of our behavior to see what might be underpinning them, what's lurking around, what's underneath. It becomes unhealthy. At some point, it's time to let go because it's a form of control. At some point, it's time to let go. You know, I like to say that it's like our children, our physical children, not our inner children, that at the beginning, they need us to care for them. They need us to pay attention. They need for us to make them feel safe, to be seen, to know that they're valued. We need to tend to their wounds. But at some point, we have to let go too. Because if we don't, we become controlling parents and we stop living our own lives. When we keep hovering over children, we become helicopter parents. And helicopter parents is not a good thing because it prevents them from being free and living their own lives. Now, you know that I love metaphors, and I got a really good one for you here. The dynamic between our healing and our higher or adult self is like riding a horse. First, of course, you need to know that there's a horse in the barn. Then you learn about the equipment, the saddle, the straps, and the bit. You might need a coach. You might read some books to learn about the dynamics and how to ride a horse. You're going to need practice. And then you need to mount the horse over and over in order to establish a connection. You need to ride and be in its presence in order to understand what makes it tick, what makes it rear up, what makes it react, and to discover its quirks and its triggers. You're going to need some time to get to know each other and establish a relationship of trust. Our healing modalities are like riding lessons. There's a lot of work to be done, important work to get to understand the horse's design and personality, but it's the perfecting of that that can become endless. That's when perfection becomes an obsession and becomes control. And the true union only happens when you stop focusing on the fixing and understanding and actually start riding. The true freedom, the true connection, that feeling of being as one, it will only happen when you agree, when you are willing to let go of control, to let go of the reins, and to surrender and to trust that your horse will get you to where you want to go. After all the lessons, that's what requires the most courage, more than continuing with more lessons. And when we get there, that's the space that I like to call quantum presence. And that's where the miracles happen. As I've talked again before, I'm going to link in the description a couple videos about all this. We can practice quantum presence in our lives to be more flowing, to be more in trust with God, with the universe. But we also can and should apply that to our healing journey. The spiritual community right now would have us believe that the only way to freedom, to a freer future, to a more conscious future, is with more healing, that the only answer is more healing. But that is not true. There is something else at play. There is something else, something greater, another state of things, another dimension, another vibration of things, where miracles of healing and quantum leaps and whatever you want to call it happen without the constant modalities of healing that keep being pushed on us and make us feel like we must continue in order to get to the inner freedom that we wish to have in our lives. Again, it's not about not doing any healing. I think that's pretty clear by now. But once we understand, the question is, do we stick to the 3D way of following and continuing in all those healing modalities that require us to control each step of our healing, control, understand, analyze, figure out, identify, and holding the reins really, really tight and having our focus on the ears of the horse looking for ticks. It's that focus on the tiny detail that prevent us from the real expansion that we seek. So do we stick with that 3D way, or do we move into a more 5D life, one of trust and surrender and miracles? and ways of things happening that we do not quite understand, that we do not control, that we give ourselves to, a new 5D way of letting go of the reins and trusting those powers. And not only trusting the powers, but as we learn to enjoy that ride of freedom with our arms out, to feel the power that is under us and that is moving us. This new way, this 5D life of bringing our head up from the ears of the horse and finally looking up and out onto the horizon as we ride freely. So I've got some questions for you to leave you with. Has your healing journey become a helicopter mom-dad project? Are you completely focused on checking out every inch of your horse, fixing the saddle, studying every aspect of its personality, and trying to perfect every one of its stride? Are you trying to control your soul into health? And I'm going to say we on this one, could be we on all the other ones. Have we forgotten the magic of letting go of the reins? When I saw that clip, I cried. And I've watched it. That's why I recorded it. I've watched it and watched it and watched it. I can feel it in my soul and in my entire body when I see that letting go, the saddle free, right on the horse, and opening the arms and closing your eyes. This is how I want to live life. And I think that might just be how you want to live life too. I mean, we spend so much time in the riding lessons when true freedom is trusting our horse and letting go of the reins. And isn't that what we all seek truly? That feeling of our soul being free and of letting go and riding again with our arms out and taking in life and riding life. That's the quantum presence where healing doesn't require any work at all, where all the rules that we think apply to us in this 3D world fall apart and something else is accessible to us. So, talking about quantum stuff, on next Wednesday's Unfiltered number number 4 episode, I'm going to talk about 2 personal stories of quantum healing for reals. Healing that didn't require any of the 3D modalities and any work from the participants, which were me and in another instance, my sister. Those are stories that shouldn't be possible. And one of them involves a miraculous healing after being in a propane explosion. So stay tuned, Unfiltered number 4, next Wednesday. Oh yeah, Wednesday, 11 a.m. Eastern Time. And for those of you who don't know, the Unfiltered episode premiere live. So I am live chatting. I'm there a few minutes before. We can chat during watching the episode, and I'm there to chat with you after. So if you want to be there, make sure to subscribe, to hit the bell with the notification so that you know you're reminded when I'm going live and you can join. That would be fabulous. So to wrap it up, 2 little questions we can ask ourselves. Am I riding or am I still taking riding lessons? Or better yet, am I done with riding lessons and ready to ditch the saddle, straddle the power of a horse, put my arms out, and let life lead me? Let me know which one you like more. I think I can kind of expect what your answers will be, but say, let me know how this resonates. I always love to hear from you. I say it maybe not often enough. I love your comments. They mean the world to me. I will see you soon. Have a wonderful day, wonderful evening, and I might post a couple things before Wednesday, but for sure Wednesday join for Unfiltered, 11 a.m. Eastern Time. Mwah. I love you. I'll see you soon. Bye.